Hello and welcome to the 106th of a second podcast. This episode we're looking at street photography, and I've done a few street images while I've been out and about, but I've never done a dedicated street photography session. And this is something I've really wanted to do, and I really would like to start doing more street photography. Like anyone, doing street photography fills me with a little bit of apprehension, but a few weeks ago I got up, I went out and I did some street photography. And while I was out in the field, I recorded some of my thoughts, and you can hear those in a moment. So I'm going to put some of the images up on the Instagram page, which I will put a link in the description for, so you can access the Instagram page. So here we go. Here are my thoughts on street photography. So I'm sat in my car in a car park, and the reason being is I've just come back from doing some street photography, some short street photography, and I'm just reporting in really about my experience, what I found and what I've learned. So I didn't want to do it in my backyard. I didn't want to be sort of recognised or people get familiar with me if I started to do this again and and question me or know me. So I went to a town near me that I don't like very much. I don't go here very often. I drive through this place, but I never come here. I think I've been here once in maybe the last 25 years. I don't have any reason to go and walk around this town or get anything from this town, and I don't like it anyway. Perfect place for me to try out doing some street photography. I park the car, I get out. First thing I do is I sort of walk around, get my bearings, see if there's anything good. It's summer in the UK at the moment of recording this podcast, but it chucked it down today. It was really, really raining, and in fact it was raining so much I had to put my wipers on full when I left and drove over here. And the rain's eased off, but it's been drizzling. Now I'd hoped with a nice sunny day people would be out, it would be busy, and that would be the ideal sort of situation for me. Busy people, too busy to notice me. It'd be easier for me to blend into the crowd if it's busy. But it wasn't so busy because it was raining, although raining did present some good opportunities. And in fact, make the most of your opportunities is something I say and something I've noticed from today. While it was raining and it wasn't the ideal conditions for what I wanted, people had umbrellas out, and that made an interesting shot in some cases. So I was using my Fuji X70, which I think is a 28mm lens. And my first mistake was not bringing a strap. In fact, that wasn't my first mistake. I did bring a strap, but I didn't bring the attachments to fit my strap to my camera. I didn't have a wrist strap or anything else. If I'd brought a different strap, my Black Rapid, I would have been okay, but I brought the wrong strap for the camera, or I didn't prepare and have the camera set up for a strap. So really quite annoying, which meant I had to carry it in a bag. I either had it in my hand, which I didn't really like doing, or I had it in my bag. Now, there's no happy medium. Having it in your bag, I missed some things that I thought would be quite good. Having it in my hand, I felt subconscious. Now, I need to jump in here and say that feeling subconscious isn't what I meant to say. I meant to say feeling self-conscious. I can't believe I said that, but yes, feeling self-conscious, not subconscious. Let's go back to my thoughts. And not as confident as I should have been. So next time, I'm definitely bringing a strap. It has to have a strap. Second thing, I put it in auto setting. So I shot in aperture priority f4 using auto ISO. I think when I started, my auto ISO was set so that the minimum shutter speed was 1/60th of a second. And a lot of my shots were at 1/60th of a second. Now, when I started, I was walking around and I wanted to keep moving. So I'd lift my camera up, snap, and keep going. I probably got blurry images from that. The way I started, when I first started this, was I was walking around and I would walk parallel to something, hold my camera up and take a side shot. Not looking at the screen, not looking at the subject. I'm probably not going to have a high success rate with that. Later, I started to sort of do this fake pose of I stopped to take a picture of a building, and I actually intended to capture the person walking through. But I would sort of make out I was taking a picture of this building and they were just walking through. So it gave me more time to compose my shots. Isn't it always the way sometimes that you want to take a picture of a building and people are milling about, or people walk in the way, or you've got to wait? When I wanted to take a picture of a person, they deliberately walked around to not spoil the shot they thought I was taking. Isn't that typical? So I stopped, had a quick review of my photos, and I changed the auto ISO so that it was 125th of a second. So I'm shooting in daylight, all overcast, drizzly. It's the UK, so what would anyone else expect? And so I was getting a higher shutter speed. I was at f4, so I was quite happy. I turned on touch focus, but I actually didn't use touch focus. Touch focus on my Fuji X70 is where you touch wherever you want on the touchscreen and it will focus and take a shot. I turned that on, but today I didn't have the confidence to use it. I had heard that a really good idea is to sort of find the scene you want and wait for someone to walk into it. I completely agree, but I didn't do that today because it was raining and I was conscious of standing around in the rain, getting wet and looking a bit creepy in all honesty, which is something I want to avoid. So I'm having a look at my images. I'm quite happy with them for the first go. One thing I found was there was a mirror in one of the shops, and that was quite good because I could take shots of the mirror and get people from a different angle. So I'm quite happy with what I've got. A lot of them, when I was sort of doing this shooting from the hip thing, those haven't worked, and even at 1/60th of a second, well, not surprisingly, at 1/60th of a second, they've been blurry because people have been walking to me and I've been walking. To stop and take a picture, I think, would probably make it obvious, which I don't want to do. But yeah, I'm quite happy with some of these. Some of these are dreadful, don't get me wrong, particularly the early ones where I'm shooting from the hip, but some of them I'm quite happy with. So we had a market in this town, and I got some good images around the market. Again, you've got to try and catch people not noticing you. I'm fairly tall. I was wearing a big, bright red coat, or a raincoat to keep the rain off me. So yeah, people were going to probably notice me holding a camera up. I didn't take my DSLR out. I took my small Fuji and it works really well. I was conscious that with a 28mm equivalent lens I'd have to get quite close to people, but you know what? It worked out okay. I'm quite happy. I've got some shots I'm really, really pleased with for my first go at street photography. So there's some with people have an umbrella up. There's this one of Bingo, which doesn't have anyone in, but as a scene, I think it says a lot. It would have been, I was hoping someone would walk under and it'd be like, bingo, say something about them finding something out or something they thought, but no one walked under. So what tips can I pass on from today's adventure, today's trial? First of all, you need to get a lay of the land. You need to walk around before you take anything. You need to see where the busy areas are. I want to know I'm not going to walk into an area where there's a potential danger, or I don't want to be taking pictures in an area where unwittingly known to me there's a group of children, or it's a sensitive area. I think sort of getting the lay of the land, getting to know your area before you start is a good idea. Planning your route, knowing where you can stop, fairly important. When I was out because it was raining, so I didn't want to be stopping somewhere and get my camera wet. As I came out the car park, I walked, there's that particular cafe brand I like to go in. I can stop there on my way back, check my images, and I can use that as sort of my base if I need to. Doing that fake pose, if you're taking a picture of something or you're making out you're taking a picture of something, is great. People don't bat an eyelid. People walk into your frame. Sometimes they walk around it. Oh well. But that sort of tactic worked really well. And I didn't feel bad doing it. I felt quite confident doing that. What else would I tell you? Give it a go. Just get out there and give it a try. One thing I did think of was I could use my smartphone and maybe I could pretend I was taking a selfie, but I didn't do that. I was quite happy with that. Set your camera before you start so that you don't have to worry about settings in the moment. Have a strap so that you can quickly just bring up your camera, snap it, and in fact, keep your camera on. Keep it on all the time so that there's no lags. You just bring it up, frame it, snap it, you're done. You let go of your camera, it drops down your side or it drops to your chest because it's on a strap, and you walk on. And I think to keep moving is quite good as well. I quite like the idea of keeping moving, and it worked particularly well in the rain today. First experiences of doing street photography, and I'm really glad I did because I've subsequently taken another street photography excursion, and it was so much easier because I'd done it. I was experienced, I knew what to do, I knew what to bring, and I got some really good images that I was really pleased with. So do let me know what you think of the images, do let me know what you think of the show. Don't forget to look in the show description to find the link to the Instagram account, and just let me know what you think. Has it been helpful? Has it been